We will discuss about Heisenberg uncertainty principle. We have already discussed de Broglie wavelength. These two concepts lead to the development of quantum mechanical model. Okay, so first we will know what is Heisenberg uncertainty principle. This principle states that it is impossible to measure both position and velocity of moving particle or small particle with absolute accuracy or certainty. It is impossible to measure both position and velocity of moving particle with accuracy or certainty. We cannot measure both position and velocity of any moving particle with accuracy or certainty. Suppose if we want to measure both these, if we want to measure position with accuracy, velocity will not give proper results. If we measure velocity properly, this will not be accurate. So together we cannot measure it accurately. Okay, and mathematically this Heisenberg uncertainty principle can be represented as delta x, which is uncertainty in position, into delta p, which is change in momentum, is greater than or equals to h by 4 pi. And p is your momentum, which can be represented by m delta v, because mass of a particular particle is constant. Like I am taking electron, its mass is 9.11 into 10 raised to power minus 31 kg. So it is constant. Its velocity can change, which is a variable here. Okay, so it is delta x, which is change in uncertainty in position, into m delta v is equals to or greater than h by 4 pi. H is your Planck's constant, delta x is your uncertainty in position, m is mass of a particle, delta v is uncertainty in velocity, h is Planck's constant, pi is also a constant. Okay, and as like de Broglie wavelength, it is also significant for microscopic particles. This principle is also significant for microscopic particles, not for macroscopic. Okay, microscopic particles. One main contribution of this uncertainty principle is that it explains why electron cannot exist inside the nucleus. How? I will tell you. Heisenberg uncertainty principle is helpful in explaining this fact that why electron cannot exist inside the nucleus. See how? On the basis of Heisenberg uncertainty principle, it is shown that electron cannot be fit inside the nucleus because the diameter of the atomic radius is in the order of, see, the nucleus diameter is in the order of 10 raised to power minus 15 meter. Okay, the diameter of nucleus is this. Fine. So Delta X means if electron want to be present inside the nucleus, its uncertainty delta X will be how much? 10 raised to power minus 15. So it is equal to delta X. Okay. I am taking electron now 10 raised to power minus 15 or delta X into m delta V is equals to h by 4 pi. This is your Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Delta X in this particular case is 10 raised to power minus 15. Mass of electron is 9.11 into 10 raised to power minus 31 kg. We have to calculate delta V. Okay. H is 6.626 into 10 raised to power minus 34. And pi is 22 by 7. When we solve all these and calculate delta V from this equation and calculate delta V, it comes out to be around, delta V will be 5.77 into 10 raised to power 10 raised to power 10 meter per second. My dear students, how much this value is big. The speed of light is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. So it is even moving twice, around twice time the speed of the light. So it is not possible. That's why electron cannot exist inside the nucleus. Because when we put all these values, delta V comes out to be 5.77 into 10 raised to power 10 meter per second, which is not feasible, bete. Okay? Is there any doubt till now? Please let me know. Dear students, in quantum mechanical model, one concept which is very important, that is your psi. It is known as wave function. Directly or indirectly, your quantum mechanics is based on this function. This function indirectly gives us the energy, position, and velocity of a particular electron. This is psi. It gives us the amplitude of a particular wave. It gives us the energy, position, and velocity of a particular electron, not directly, by doing some modifications in it. Okay, so this quantum mechanical model includes one equation which is known as Schrodinger wave equation, and luckily you don't have to learn its derivation. In our time, we learned the derivation of the same. So according to Schrodinger wave equation, H, which is Hamiltonian operator, psi is equal to E psi. See, this is H. It is Hamiltonian operator. Hamiltonian operator. It is a same operator like you are using in maths, addition, subtraction. Similarly, it's a one operator. When we multiply this operator with psi, it gives the energy of a particular electron. You don't go into the details of this topic, you just have learned this. Now, I told you wave function is indirectly helpful in determining the position and energy or velocity of a particular electron. How? When we did the square of this function, when we did the square of this function, it is very important because This function helpful in determining the probability of finding the electron around the nucleus. This chi-square helpful in finding the probability of finding the electron around nucleus. About 90%. See, if we can determine the areas in which electron is revolving around the nucleus. So by seeing this, we can determining the shapes of orbitals, position of orbital, energy of orbital. So this chi-square is very important in quantum mechanics because this is helpful in determining the probability of finding the electron around the nucleus, around 90%. Okay, suppose this is the nucleus and electrons are revolving like this. So this chi-square is helpful in determining the position of electron around the nucleus. Okay, this gives us the amplitude of wave and this gives us the probability of finding the electron around the nucleus. Okay, now next is your boundary surface flows. Boundary surface flows. As the name suggests, when we, with the help of chi-square, we can find the areas in which electrons are revolving. So remember, darker the area, darker the region, more is the probability. More probability of finding the electron. If the area is dark, in which it means that in that position electron is revolving, electron is finding more. And if area is light, it means there is less probability of finding the electron around the nucleus. And if there is no shade, not dark, not light, it means in that particular position, probability of finding the electron is 0. And that area is known as node. Okay? So that area is known as node, in which probability of finding the electron is 0. Now from this concept, we go to further concept, that is your orbital and nodes. That is your orbitals and nodes. From boundary surface flows, we can explain these two terms. So first, my dear students, there is a region in space. There is a region in space in which there is non-zero, probability of finding an electron. So it means orbital is that area around the nucleus in which probability of finding the electron is not 0. I am emphasizing this word, not 0. That means orbital is that area in which probability of finding the electron around the nucleus is not 0. Okay? And nodes are those area in space in which there is 0 probability of finding the electron around the nucleus, which means in that area, the probability of finding the electrons are 0. And orbitals are those areas in which probability of finding the electron around the nucleus is not 0. Okay, I hope orbital is clear to you all. Is there any doubt? Please let me know. Is there any doubt? Please let me know. Difference between orbit and orbital. Orbit and orbital. See, when we are talking about two dimensions, then we give the term orbit. Okay? Orbit means it is a well-defined circular path around the nucleus in which electrons are revolving. Suppose this is the nucleus, suppose, and electrons are revolving in circular disc-like structure. This is your orbit. But orbital is your three-dimensional concept. All orbitals are not circular and disc-like. Different orbitals have different shapes. Like S orbitals are spherical in shape, P orbitals are dumbbell in shape, okay, and D orbitals have different shapes. So different orbitals have different shapes. Orbit is your 2D concept, orbital shells, and orbital is your three-dimensional concept. Different orbitals have different shapes, and orbit is circular and disc-like in shape. Okay. Orbits do not have any directional characteristics. All orbitals except s orbitals have directional characteristics. The most important difference is that the maximum number of electrons in any orbit is given by the formula 2n square, where n is your number of orbits. Like if it is 1, then it will be 2 into 1 square. That is 2. But in an orbital, only maximum of 2 electrons can come. But in an orbital, only maximum of 2 electrons can come. But in orbit, it is given by the formula 2n square. Okay? I hope it is clear to you all. Is there any doubt? Please let me know.